Hey, world, what's going on? It is Queen Aishah, and I'm here with my mom, Geraldine, Geri, Sade, Gigi, Mama Geri, Mahasan, all of that. We're gonna have a good time. What's up, Mama JJ? You know, we're gonna have a great conversation. I'm actually at my mom's place in Silver Springs, Maryland. Today is an amazing day for us. My great nephew, her first great grandson, Adonis, Prince Adonis, has turned 1 on yesterday. So we are going to be celebrating him today. Here, we're going to have a great time. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to interview my mom. You know, she was always booked and busy. I was like, Mom, y'all been asking for money. Mommy, come on. You know, I got stuff to do, Aisha. You know, I be having things to do. She said she got a life, you know. She got things going on. So I'm here in her place and we're going to do it in person. And thank you all for joining us. I see Brenda Babs is in here. What's up? We're going to have a great time. What's going on, Mama? How you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling fine, but I have to make my curry chicken and my rice and
peas. I'm not doing this. So okay. She is preparing a few things for the celebration, and then you know how we do. We having a celebration after the celebration. So since me and my sister Razia are in town, we just told our friends, like, we miss you, like, come through and see us, because our trip is such a quick turnaround, but we had to show up and show out for Mr. Prince Adonis, okay, with his beautiful spirit. So, Mother, thank you so much for joining me. We're going to talk about a few she said she want her check, yo. She's gonna be saying slick stuff all throughout the conversation. So before we get started with the interview, this is Black History Month. We have a few more days left in Black History Month, and I just wanted to share a Black History fact with you all, that the father of Black History Month is Mr. Carter G. Woodson. He was born December 19th, 1875 in New Canton, Virginia. And he was actually born to his parents who were actually enslaved. Mr. Woodson was tirelessly and worked in lobbying to establish the Negro History Week as a program that encouraged the study of African American history. He dedicated his career to the subject and wrote many books on the topic. His most famous volume is The Miseducation of the Negro, 1933. I actually have a copy of that book. This book, which has been required as reading in numerous colleges and universities. Now, if you all did not know that, it went from Negro History Week to Negro History Month. And the way it became about it was to honor President Abraham Lincoln, who he abolished slavery with the Emancipation Proclamation, and then also Frederick Douglass, who was an escaped slave and an activist and author. So that's how it started off, with it being the month of February, because both of their birthdays are in February. Okay. And then in 1976, it went from a week to a full month. So that is your Black History fact here on I Know Dope People with Queen Aishah. Okay. So we are going to get started with my mom. As I introduced you all, my mother's Geraldine Hogan's from Newark, New Jersey, Brick City, the original OG gangster from Mama Street. From Mama Street. And she will tell people she's from Montclair. I don't know what that's about, but she's from Newark. Okay. She from Newark. Ain't nothing wrong with Newark. She from Newark. When she put on her really bougie hat, she'd be like, I'm from Montclair. I'd be like, Geraldine, you from Newark. So she said she passed through Newark. Where were you born? In Newark.
Newark.
You were born in Newark. So, Mom, you are the only child to Grandma Bernice and Grandpa Nate Dawson.
I'm the
Dawson's
only
real.
child for my parents.
You're the only right. Well, you're okay, mommy. Come on, like for real. She said, you're the only child for your parents that we know." So no, she's the only child for her parents. How was it growing up being an only child?
Oh, well, first of all, my mother died when I was 2. So I was raised by my maternal grandmother. And that was fine. She had her own business, which was a restaurant. But after one of my grandfathers died, that was not my mother's father. My grandmother, Elizabeth Taylor, had nothing on her. Anyway, as I said, one of my grandfathers made his transition. So my grandmother had to give up the business, and I went to stay with my Aunt Flossie. My Aunt Flossie had no children, but she watched everybody's child who worked. So I lived with my cousins, and therefore it wasn't like being an only child. The only situation was um, both sides of my family doted on me, like my dad's relatives, my great aunts and uncles, and my dad had brothers. So I always had an abundance of things. Back in those days, they used to consider a child without a mother a motherless child, and it was a determination I wasn't going to miss anything since my mom wasn't there. So therefore, I had a lot of stuff, and my cousins and friends, they concentrated on the things I had where I just wanted to be a part of the crowd, be with them. So I gave away a lot of stuff because they just liked it. I gave it away.
And it's so ironic that you bring up giving away things, because that was going to be a later question. But one thing with you, mommy, I've always known that you volunteer, that she's always giving away things. She'll take things, jewelry, whatever, off someone say, "Oh, I like that," and she'll just give it away. How did you come? Just because being young and just was something that was innately in you young?
Yes. I remember my grandmother was saying to me, "You always giving something away." But it's been a part of me. It's still a part of me today. Now, if you see me on the street, I'm giving up my earrings. So any of you watching this now, I think I've come through that hurdle. Main reason is I'm trying not to buy anymore, things. But yes, I like to see people happy, and if that pleases them, fine.
Yes.
I'm content. I'm happy. So it's good.
So being an only child for your parents, however, you've come from a lot of family and friends.
Let's clear something up. Who else would I be?
Well, mommy, just go with it, okay? You be doing too much. Focus. Being an only child, because you said it earlier, right? See, this what we be going through. That's why my time here is limited. Anyway, so being an only child, however, you always had a lot of love and family around you, and like her family, they love her. My mom doesn't. She doesn't discriminate. Everybody, the cousin Geri, Aunt Geri, like that is something. Is that something that was just in you? Was grandpa like that?
Well, my grandfather, my dad, he was a very outgoing person. He was a people's person. He was in the bar business. He was very handsome and dressed well. My dad got manicures all the time. He was out there. And that was my idea of a man. My dad, he was all of that. And that's what I look for. That's why it's important for females, girls, to have a dad in their life, to give them something to aspire towards, in their mate or whoever they're in the world seeking. Yes, so that was it. My grandmother, she was known as a chicken lady, because she used the chickens were on sale someplace. She would buy a lot of chickens and go around distributing them to her nieces who had also lost their parents. But these were grown people now with families of their own. But my grandmother felt she had to do that. And at the time she could afford to buy them chickens, because it's not like today's prices.
Okay, because the chicken has sacrificed a lot for Black people. However, it's very expensive. But Grandma Marguerite, she also did she date a man that delivered chickens to the supermarket?
I don't know nothing about
that. She probably don't want to say it on camera, but she would make sure that he delivered chickens to all the family, because what we doing is getting these chickens.
Oh, you must be getting confused with the story. This aunt will remain nameless. when grandma said she stole a live chicken out the chicken market, and she don't know how she got out the store with the live chicken under her coat.
I never heard that one, but okay. But yeah, so you have 6 children.
Yes.
3 boys first, and then 3 girls. I am the first girl. And how was that? You being an only child and having 6 kids. What did you say you would tell people if they asked you? You said if somebody asked you if you like sex, what you said you're going to tell them you had 6 kids.
That has nothing to do with it.
But that's what you used to say, Mom.
It could have been 6 mistakes.
But you celebrated me when I came through, Gigi. Tell them. Anyway.
All of my children are different. They're all exceptional. They're all wonderful in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
We got some specials. They're real specials.
You would say that if somebody told me something about one of my children did something, she was like, I know y'all so well, I would know who did what. She's like, you couldn't lie on them because I know their personalities. And you said it was important that you raise all of us as individuals, not as collective children, because we all had separate needs.
Different people.
Yes.
All different people with different needs.
Okay. So elaborate on that.
But you all needed to get you behind it.
She ain't play, honey. I have friends that's grown. They be like, when we came to your house, your mother beat me. To everybody that was there, she was like, she was the original, you can get it. She was the original, you can get it. So
no, I just checked things out and didn't take things for granted. And the child came to the house. They wanted to spend the night. I wanted to know about their parents. They said their mom said it was okay. I wanted to know about that. How your mother say it's okay and she don't know who I am? Mm-hmm. How she go, okay, you to stay over my house? Yeah. So I always did investigation. I was busy, but I also always kept my hand on what they were doing. Now they got over on me, because I thought like when we lived in Georgia King Village, I had all the locks on the doors and the bars on the window. And you guys tell me how you used to make chains and your friends would stand on one another and you come out the window.
That was those were your boys. Mm. Those are your boys. Mm-hmm. Those are the boys. So yeah, so one thing I would say is you always kept us involved in activities, but also you kept us involved in activities, but you also included our friends as much as possible. Yeah. Like even whether it was just as simple as going to the drive-in movie, because that was back in the day. And she had a station wagon, so she would put us in. I don't know how much it cost to get in, and I don't know how many she paid for, but the back seat was coming down, and it was going to be about 1 or 2 bodies under that seat before it went. And then my mother, we bathed. If we were young enough, she bathed us, or we bathed, put our pajamas on. So when we got home from the movie, we were already ready for bed. So it was important for us to have culture. You used to take us to the Black Film Festival.
You had your art lessons. You had your music lessons. You went to camp.
Yeah, but you wanted to be a ballerina, but because you weren't a ballerina, you wanted one of us to be a ballerina.
Yes, ballerina dance. Yes.
Yeah, so we actually took ballet classes. So you made sure that we were all involved in the arts. So when you and my dad separated, she felt as though she still wanted to give us what they had, their vision together, their goal together. She still pressed forward to do that. And you always made yourself, like you said, available. She went to school. You worked across the street from us when we lived in Georgia King Village. She always arranged her work schedule where she could be available to us. And we always had a hot meal. Like M&M's was a treat. Ice cream. The only reason we got ice cream is because my dad had an ice cream truck, so that wasn't everything. Not true.
Well, Mommy, ate a lot of Briars.
Well, we did eat Briars, but it wasn't like a constant thing because your thing was more so us having a balanced meal, and you was like, I don't have no extra money for the dentist. I think one day I was eating candy or something, and she was like, "What you have in your mouth? What you eating, honey?" And my mother nails was always manicured. She did one of these and shook you over the toilet to get. She's like, "We don't have no extra money. We don't have no extra."
Tales of Geraldine.
Yes. So that was something as far as meals and stuff. So with your balanced meals, was that from your teachings with coming through the Nation of Islam?
Well, I came from a cooking family. There was, it was a whole lot of cooking going on all the time. My grandmother, her sisters, so, and my dad was a good cook. So I love cooking. Actually, it started when I was a child. I had a neighbor, Miss Fortney May, so rest in peace. She had about 8 or 9 children, and I used to. They lived right next door to us. We lived on Frelinghuysen Avenue, and one of the times I was passing through Newark.
Mhm.
Anyway, I would go to her house. I would help her with her children, the small ones, and she was always going places and doing things. So I was always up under her, and she did a lot of recipes I was not familiar with. So I grew to love baking and things like that. So that I guess that's when I first recall taking notice to my attraction to cooking. And I've always been interested in people cooking, and I would watch people, and I would think after as I got older and learned more what I would do different, what I would put in, what herb spice I would introduce. So cooking has always been a part of my life, and I've cooked for I had a personalized service. I started it before I moved from Montclair to Maryland. And I continued in Maryland. My first years, I did private cooking for people here and cooked for them for the week. And that was it. And I was and spoke about this last night when we were at dinner. We were talking about passion. We were with my grandson and a friend, and they're 17 and 18.
Mm-hmm.
And we were asking them the passions. What would they do if they got paid for it or not? And I had to give them the example of myself. I said, I would cook for people. If some of the people knew how I love to cook, they would charge me to cook for them because that's how strongly I felt about cooking. I just love to do it. Today, people say, you cooking? Why are you cooking? You always cooking. It's just you. But I cook. I feed my neighbors. And I love to cook.
Mm-hmm.
That's my passion. That's my love.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And I think that has us, your children and grandchildren and friends, like spoiled because you cook with a lot of fresh herbs, like not salty food. So a lot of times you ask someone, "Oh, how's that food taste?" They're like, "It's good." And then because I'm not used to a lot of salt, I'm sensitive. I can taste it automatically. And salty food is not really good food to me. Like I like flavors. Like she was talking earlier about her curry chicken and all that stuff that she's gonna make. It's like good food. You can see pieces of thyme and basil and all those things in the food. And then you went on to cooking school because you loved it so much. The culinary school,
the Natural Gourmet in New York. It was the only school of its kind in the country at the time. I don't even know if it still exists. It was on West 22nd Street in Manhattan. But and the reason for that was that one of my relatives through marriage uh, knew somebody he was vegan, and he was looking for someone to prepare food for him that tastes well. And when she came to me and she said, I suggested or recommended you to do it, and my ignorant response was, what am I doing? Cook lettuce? And I mean, that's how, I mean, at that time in my life,
mm-hmm.
I had no idea how to cook for a vegan. The only thing I could think of was lettuce and, stuff like that. Anyway, so that became a challenge for me. So I enrolled in the Natural Gourmet, and I learned the whole world thing. I learned how to bake a cake without using eggs and forget sugar and all that stuff. It was a whole new world. And I enjoyed it. And then, of course, I added my own little technique to different things. And it went very well. As I said, I had clients in Jersey and Maryland. And so I got back into my profession because when I moved here, I didn't know if I was going to continue. I was in the insurance field for quite a while. So one of my former business associates found me through a reference, and it got me involved back in that. And for my work, I traveled all over the country. I've been to just about every state in the union. And so therefore I could not really cook. I did as long as I could, but it was become difficult because I would be out sometimes for a month. Sometimes I would come home because they would. That's why my daughter Razia convinced me to move to Baltimore with her. She said, "Ma, you just pay rent for nothing, and I'm buying a house. You might as well come on over and pay my mortgage because I was never home."
Yes, and also she's being modest. She actually she cooked for Lauryn Hill at Lauryn Hill's house in South Orange, New Jersey. This is when Lauryn's album came out. Lauryn was looking for a personal chef to go on tour. So she actually prepared food for the family. And what did you make? Plantain porridge? Something
no, she wanted escabeche.
Escabeche fish. And they just loved it. And then you cooked at Mike Tyson's home in Connecticut.
I forgot about that.
In Connecticut, he had a big event going on there, and she prepared meals
along
for the
with
event.
A few other chefs. It was a big affair.
Yeah,
and so
yes,
they didn't do that alone.
Yes, so yeah, she's my mom's cooking is the bomb. Like on Thanksgiving, we've gotten better because the children have gotten more skilled. But come Thanksgiving time, Geraldine phone ringing off the hook because everybody because my mom, you just open to experiments and a lot, and she's not afraid to try new things. Like when I was a teenager, like me and my sisters, like we really suffered with the try this whether it's good or not, and you better not throw it in the garbage. Like that quiche, she made some quiche one time. It was
never lived it down. They still talk about
terrible.
And my goddaughter Sakina, she tells these big lies on me all the time. She said, "Your mother can't." She tells Masada, "And your mother can't make regular eggs. She got to put saltfish and all
yes, it ain't gonna be no just regular egg, and she's gonna be some green pepper, some Scotch bonnet. It's gonna be popping, right? And then one Super Bowl, this is when we were teenagers. You made some type of a peanut butter chicken. Like my stomach still hurt thinking about it. Like me, Simone, Shondell, Razia, Masada, and then Shondell told me a couple of years ago. Those are like my best friends from childhood. She said, Aishah, she said, when your mother made that chicken, I said, no, but when y'all wasn't looking, I stole it. She said, I stole a piece and I ran in the hallway to eat some. It was good to me. Let me tell you, we had to stay home from school the next day because that peanut butter was too rich for that chicken and everything else we had going on. But yes, my 16th, my rites of passage, my mother catered all of the food, and she made black cake months before and started. Like when I tell you, when I say like I don't drink, but the first time I got drunk was at 16 when she made sure that black cake was soaked and it was bang. We slept till like 2:00 the next afternoon because that cake took us out of here.
And speaking of that, I just put the icing on my black cake last night. The ones that I didn't make for the holidays that people have been requesting so they can leave with you guys when you go back to Georgia.
Right. So you sending. So this is how we do. People don't. They be like, y'all real West Indian and African because we gonna travel with something. Something came up here and something leaving. We not paying all that shipping and handling and USPS and them. We got a minivan rented for a reason. It's gonna be full. We gonna get our use. Cousin Della said, "Good morning, ladies. Looking good as always."
Hey, Della.
Yes. Cousin Della and her mom is, let me tell you something, Cousin Gwen, you talking about somebody that I miss. They were like sisters. Let me tell you something.
We were
Cousin
both
Gwen,
only children.
And you talking about a riot. Cousin Gwen would cut up the stuff she said. I still think about some of the stuff that Cousin Gwen say and just bust out laughing. May she rest in peace. We would Cousin Gwen was about 4'11".
Oh, she's a little taller than that.
Okay, she wasn't as tall as me. Anyway, but when I tell you cousin Gwen would be sharp, honey, and she would tell them stories, and she'd be like, Aishah, let me see, go ahead and dance. We would have really good time. And they ain't play like they was like the CIA. They ain't letting anybody in their house. But when we came, we can come in. It was a special knock you had to have on the window.
And you had to go around the house because there were certain windows you had to knock on. Anyway.
Yes. So let me ask you. So I recently connected with Queen Afua. If you don't know Queen Afua, you can search her. She has a book, Heal Thyself, Impactful Listening, a Sacred Woman. And I was telling her how I was introduced to her back in the 80s through you. And like just us being connected and knowing our roots and our history and all of those things, that was so imperative to you. And I was explaining to her how we listen to WLIB, which is talk radio. Like, if you come in my mom's house now, and the reason it's not as quiet is because we're doing this live, but she listens to WPFW, which is in Washington, D.C., her blues, her news. You always were into alternative world news.
It's listener sponsored radio. So therefore, those who are concerned or interested in what's going on in the world and what's going on as for us as a people, they basically listen. And this is all nationalities, all complexions. This radio station has been on the air for, I believe it's 45 years. It was on before I came down here, and I've been down in this area about 25 years now. So people pay to keep it on the air. That's the point. We are sustainers. A lot of us, you can make one-time contributions, but I pay. It just keeps rolling year after year. So, you were telling Queen of Four about
WLIB.
Yeah. That's how we basically stay informed. And I'm always listening to talk radio since Jersey. It was in NPR, which is it came out of New York. It was WABI or something to that. Well, WPFW is the counter to that in the DC area, and then they have another one out in California, which I don't know the call letters for.
And I think they all come under NPR, some way, association.
No, not NPR is public radio, but not with WPFW is Pacifica.
Right, that's Pacifica. Right. That's right. It's Pacifica. Yeah. So, and you actually volunteered for the radio station in New Jersey,
and in New York.
In New York. So,
and I'm down here.
Okay. So the reason I bring this story up is I always tell people about volunteering. Like, my volunteering when I started at WKYS 93.9, WKYS in Washington, D.C., I started there actually as before I started doing stand-up comedy. And I was talking to my mom about it. And she said, well, Aishah, why don't you volunteer? Because I was telling her I was so nervous. And she said, volunteer so you can kind of get connected and familiar and comfortable with your audience. And I started doing it. And my friends, we're friends almost 30 years. I have friends that I'm still connected to 93.9 WKYS as well as WHUR that's here. And I have such a plethora of friends. Even after I left the stations, when I would just go through and visit, I met people. So this one, I think volunteering is so important because it's the gift that keeps on giving. And you meet people because you put something out and it comes to you 10,000 fold. So if you can get, like, you are a candy striper, right? Mm-hmm. She wanted me to be a candy striper, and I don't think I wanted to wear the uniform. But anyway, but that was my form of volunteering. And because she said, Aishah, I volunteer, just go find a local radio station. And that's how I did it. And then I actually got hired from volunteering. I actually got hired to do radio.
And the key that you remember there also is the fact that you get an experience. A lot of people equate things with dollars. That experience is dollars yet to come. It doesn't have to be in your hand. I'm a believer in what goes around comes around. Mm-hmm. So therefore, the person you do it for don't necessarily have to bring it back to you, but you put it out in the universe, and therefore it's traveling and it's going to come back to you. Mm-hmm. So once you can operate from that position, you don't worry about things. I didn't do any harm, so I'm not like expecting any harm.
Yes. So the other questions I wanted to ask, like when we look at like the state of so much going on in the world, the country, let's start with parent and children relationship. Like, what's your take on that? Like how you raise your children, how you saw people raise their children, and how children are being raised now with parent and children relationships.
Well, I feel, things are changing. It's fluid. It's not stagnant. And given a certain circumstances, you deal with certain things. It's like what's right today can be wrong tomorrow. So therefore, you can't be what's the word I want?
So stuck in.
It's stuck, but I was looking for another word. But rigid, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When I was raising you guys, it was a certain thing going on, and I came from a uh, I don't want to say nation, but I did. I was formerly a member of the Nation of Islam, and the way I was raised in my household, it was family. I'm an only child, but I grew up with a lot of family, cousins and whatnot. We're close. And what I seen my grandmother and her sisters, and how my aunts and great aunts and uncles, basically, because my mother was an only child. She has a sister, but my mother was deceased. They never knew one another, so my mother was an only child. Also, the way I saw the relationship, people were close and so forth and so on, and they cared about the child, even if it wasn't their child. So I had a lot of that I moved forward with. And your dad's family, my mother-in-law, may she rest in peace, lived to be 102 years old. They were close. It was some of the same relationship that happened. Then by becoming a member of the Nation of Islam, I had that sisterhood and brotherhood again. And we looked out for one another. So in other words, I'm saying this to say, you had somebody looking out for you if I wasn't there. Mm-hmm. And where we lived in, when I left, my husband moved out of the house and we all moved. I said, well, my children are accustomed to having a house. So therefore, we're not going into no apartment. And it so happened it was the start of all these new townhouses being built, so forth and so on. So we moved into a townhouse. What do we have, like 5, 6 levels in that house?
It was 1, 2, 3, 4. It was 5 levels, 5 bedrooms. Was it 5 bedrooms? 1, 2, 3.
It's 2 on my level. It was 1
on 5 bedrooms.
Yeah,
we had 5 bedrooms and a basement and a crawl space. Okay.
Yeah, where they used to hide their friends in the crawl space. And
we had a funeral for our bird dollar bill, and my brother Malik put on her graduation outfit in a wig, and he was the pastor. Now we must have went on it. He was the pastor, and me and my sisters, we were shouting and passing out and fainting, and we cremated the bird with the wintergreen alcohol. And my brother Kyle came home and said, "What in the hell is going?" we was doing a line. Did you know we used to smoke? We used to smoke incense because we used to see people smoke, so we used to put the incense in our mouth and go to. We thought we was doing something in tea bags. The tea bag gave me a headache, but go ahead, Geraldine.
Anyway, like I said, I thought I had it all nailed down and didn't much get past me, but you see, they were still doing stuff. All right, what they saw, because they thought we were Africans or something.
Right. This is so funny because my mom, we grew up around everyone. She went to school with people like Brother Yago, may he rest in peace. His daughter's Jennifer, and forgot the other Jennifer. I can't think of the oldest daughter's name, or the youngest daughter's name. We are friends till this day, but we grew up around everyone. So we didn't have a lot of hangups with, oh, this person African, this person Haitian, this person Jamaican. But then when it became popular, I was like, y'all, we been done did that. Now it's popular and it's okay. So we always grew up around everybody, ate all types of food, visited people. Like I tell people, I got a Aunt Clunis in Canada. She's Jamaican. They like, how you got a Jamaican aunt? It's too much. We can't get into all of that.
Yes. But the point I was making about the environment that came out, there was always family. Even if there wasn't blood, there was family. And being in the Nation of Islam, the place we moved to, a lot of Muslims live there. So there was always somebody watching and caring. So my children, they ran into, it was how I say duplicated. What they saw at home, or when they moved on, it was somebody else's house that was Muslim or family. They seen that behavior being duplicated, so they couldn't get away with a lot of stuff that these kids get away with now. But I see the setup, because right now when they came out with you can't hit the child or this and that, I would tell my children, okay, if I touch them, here's the phone. Now you call social services. But one thing I want you to remember, when you leave here, you won't be coming back. Okay? They never dialed. They never die. And you got to let them know you are not playing. You're serious. So I don't know all what's happening today, but in my day, it wouldn't have been happening. But I know there's some new challenges today that you have to deal with, but it's the way you started off raising those children and the input. And one of the things I find, I say that you got babies raising babies. The things the children do today, I don't even understand how do they get to that point. But it's because they never learn. The parents never learn. They didn't sit at the foot of their grandparents and great aunts, uncles, and so forth. They did not have those opportunities because someone decided to start a family very young, without the knowledge of what it was all about. It's more than just having a baby. It's not a play, a toy, or whatnot. I mean, I had when I got married, my first marriage, my grandmother came to my house every day to make sure that things were clean, the house was clean, food was cooked, and the baby was cared for properly. And what did we do? We listened. We didn't know. I ain't know this about having no baby or no child. I listened. That was it.
And one thing you will always say, you're a believer.
I was a believer. I didn't have to get beatings and whatnot. I was a believer. I see stuff going on, and I never thought about running away because my grandmother cooked every day, and the house was clean. I could not imagine sleeping on nobody's floor, and that was just not a part of my reality, as Dr. Jewel Pookrum would say. Okay.
So so one thing we would ask you, we was like, Mommy, you never tried drugs, weed, or anything. What would you say? You like your clothes too much?
I like to eat and I like to wear clothes. I say if I can't wear it and I can't chew it and pass it, I ain't interested.
Okay. Words spoken by Geraldine. So what are your thoughts on religion? Do you think that a lot of issues that we have going on have to do with lack of religion or spirituality?
Well, we're all connected, whether you know it or not. I don't know what you want to call it or how you want to call it. I have no issues. I'm a Buddhist. I'm a Buddhist. I don't. It talks to me. But I'm true to myself. So let me just say this to you folks out there. I enjoy my gospel music.
Okay. Let's say it.
I'm true to myself. That's what I want you to know. Number one, I'm true to myself. Buddhism appears to me because it's the natural state of life. Nam Yoho Renge Kyo. Cause and effect. For every cause you make, there's going to be an effect. I truly believe that. And when you get into your knowledge and you have a little powwow with yourself, you will realize, we don't put stipulations or restraints on people. We know whatever you do is going to come back on you some way, some shape or form. So, I don't know, where people find their peace, their happiness. What can I say? I cannot dictate to you what brings you joy, but I mean that works for me. But we are all spiritually and divinely connected, whether we know it or not. And you just have to have some standards in terms of how you're going to raise your family. And remember, you're not going to please everybody. But that's not it. You just have to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. And everything is not going to be known today. I remember, I don't know if it was a gospel song or just hearing it, that, you're going to know better in the by and by. You understand? A lot of things come to me, I say, oh, so that's what my grandmother meant. Oh, that's what my aunt meant. So I'm seeing it now.
Mhm.
And one thing about it, if you don't learn a lesson, you can repeat it over and
You're
over
gonna
and
get kept back.
over. That's right.
And as you always said, you always two things that you always say: keep living,
Mm-hmm.
keep living.
Keep living. It's gonna come to pass. You gonna see.
Hmm.
Keep living. That's where. This is where you are today. I've grown. I've changed my mind and my situation. It's like people say to me, "You know, today where you at? I'm fine. I mean, I've lived my what? What is it? How's it go? 3 scores and 7 or whatever, however it goes.
Right, right.
I've lived that and I'm still living, but I'm not fearful or deaf or anything like that. I'm fine. I'm living it. I'm gonna live this life I got to the end. You know, as Oprah said, I'm gonna run on and see what the end's gonna be. Okay.
Mhm. And then the other saying that you have is you got to pat ass before you can kick ass.
Yeah.
Explain
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because sometimes you've been in a position you know like you want to say something, you want to do something, you know something is not right. Like you might have a job, let's say, and they're not treating you right at the job, and you have issues with it, but you need that job because you got to eat, sleep, and have some kind of shelter. And you might have to do that for a few people, you know, not just yourself. So then that means you're going to have to get through it. And those are challenges in life, you know. You have to meet those challenges. That's going to make you stronger and prepare you for what's yet to come. But if you give up and drug out and this, that, and the other, well, hey, what can I say? That was your choice, huh? But it's not going to get you anywhere, you know. And if you hang in there long enough, you are going to make it where you don't have to deal with that kind of behavior anymore. But sometimes you might have to do it. You might need that experience um, to get you to the next step. So that might come with the territory. We've all had those experiences. We all had to go through things like that. And don't blame your parents. They're working with what they have, you know. They're doing the best they can with what they have to work with. I know a lot of them could probably be doing better if they're on drugs and all that kind of stuff, but that's where they are in their life, and that's what they're working with. But now, you as a responsible adult, you can now take charge of your life and turn it around and give thanks to them for bringing you where they brought you this far. Give thanks to them. Even if they were a drug addict, even if they gave you up, give thanks to them for the knowledge they had to bring you to a certain point in life. Because you don't know what they had to go through in life.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me see. Is there anything else you want to add? Because I got a whole list of questions for you, Gigi.
I got to make my curry chicken and my
You know,
rice and peas.
how important?
When these people come to my house and they gonna say, "What?" You know,
Right? How important is education? Because you made sure that. Let me share this story. When I first came to DC, I came to DC, and my mother, we would communicate all the time. I was 19, and she would ask me if I had found work yet, and I was like, no. So one of our conversations, she said to me, because she would give me, she got so much insight. She's so resourceful. I have friends. My mom is so resourceful. If she doesn't know, she's gonna direct you to somebody that know, or she's gonna tell you to look it up, research it. When I was coming up, I'm like, mommy, how you spell that word? Look it up. How you gonna look it up if you don't know how to spell it? But these are the challenges that we were always given. But she told me, one of the last conversations we had before I found a job. She said, Aishah, you have 30 days to find a job. If you don't find a job in 30 days, you will be in school. Because she also understood that, one, I was young. I was in a new area. I was very green, and an idle mind is I don't know if you want to call it the devil workshop, or you have to know. I didn't know anyone there but my family, my cousin Brenda, who I was staying with here. But she thought it was very imperative for me to be working and doing something and staying busy. So our family, we just have that hustle, grind, create for yourself, entrepreneurial. You got to do something, keep it moving in us, because that's how we grew up.
You got to be busy
And productive.
Right? Yes.
Productive.
Most importantly.
And I don't try and judge anyone because everybody's situation is different. But my mom, she raised 6 children on her own, went to school, worked, all of that. You have your you was working on the other day. My mother, like, she stayed. My mom, this is the thing. When I say something to my mom, her comeback to try to shut me down when she knows she out of order. She a Capricorn. I'm a Sagittarius. She be doing the most. She said, "I'm your mother. I raised you." I'm like, "Mommy, I get that, but it don't matter. Wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter who came first, who was born first. You wrong. You out of order." So the other, she said something, and I said, "Mommy, had you did something." What did I tell you? I said, how many credits you were from your master's degree? I said, had you listened more or something, or you said that word properly or something, I said, you would have had your master's degree. You would have been better off or something. She said, F you, Aishah.
Anyway, keeping it real.
So every day, every day, me, Razia, and my mama on the phone in the morning before she goes to work. And we on a 3-way and we having conversations. And then Masada, my youngest sister,
my office.
Right. Masada, my youngest sister, or my nephew Kareem is either called her already or she called them. Like, this is like every day, all day. The other day she overslept for an appointment and she said, "Oh, you ain't called me, so you just let me oversleep. I had an appointment." And I think that's your sense of humor and your spirit. Where do you get your sense of humor and spirit from?
Well, to me, I find Black people funny. And in my family growing up, they were always funny. I just, it's like with the comedy, I would not like consider myself going to hear comedy because everybody was like a comedian around me. I figured. So it wasn't something when the shows first started, I couldn't see like getting involved in that. I mean, I grew up with the Nipsey Russell and what's his name?
Dolomite.
That album we had, Fox or something.
Dolomite, Red Fox.
Yeah, those kind of, you know what I'm saying. But so it wasn't as large. Well, it was a few moms maybe, but it wasn't as big as it was now. So I just think we're just humorous and whatnot, and it's funny. It's all kind of humor. Like my oldest son, Andrew, he has dry humor. He say things and it's like he has no smile on his face or anything, but he'll say stuff and it's like funny, So there's all kinds of comedians, but I think I was always a comedian. I mean, when I say comedian, I used to act out for my cousins and whatnot. I don't know. It could have been a thing of just wanting to fit in and belong, being around them. So I would act out to today. They still say, "You still crazy. You still crazy." That's all they say to me at this age, the ones that are still on planet Earth and, around my age. And they say, and even the younger ones are getting in there like, she crazy. So, but, I don't know. I think because we had to make our fun among ourselves. We didn't have that much in the line of finances, which wasn't important because I know today we were poor, but we didn't know we were poor when it was happening. I mean, everybody was in the same boat. So we went to the movies, we went skating, we went swimming, we took trips to Coney Island and all the beaches, the Rye Beach, the Rockaway, all those places. So I don't know, but I think we were supposed to be poor because it was doing that.
She said, "I think we were supposed to be poor."
But we didn't miss anything. We had good times. So.
And what I wanted to ask you, because you used to like in the nation. So you used to sew and make clothes even when you were in high school. Was it Southside Weequay?
I went to Weequay.
Weequay of Newark, New Jersey. That wasn't in Montclair though. Weequay was in Newark. So you were into your fashion and style and all of that. We have some pictures like these outfits that you made. We're gonna post some. We're gonna post right there. That's an outfit I think you got on a fur coat. I think you was like,
I
you was
remember-
grown. You was like, I think you was in your 50s.
I mean-
and you was cute. You still kind of.
No, I think I was married then. Yeah, I was. I might have been with your father.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I'm saying that's some teenage picture.
No, it wasn't. No, it was not a teenage picture. And that outfit right there.
So you don't ask me no questions.
Okay, but you looking cute because most of these outfits, I think that you made them. Because I remember as a fuchsia.
Oh, I used to make all my clothes.
Yeah,
used to all my clothes.
And used to make stuff for me. A fuchsia coat you made for me. I just love that coat. And then we have one picture of us. It's like three of us. It's me, Malik, and Razia. Celeste, I'm gonna post that one because I don't think you're gonna know which one that is. It was me, Malik, and Razia. I think this is a picture that did you make those outfits for us?
Oh yes.
You made that, honey. You know, I was ready. You see my little curl on the side. And me and Razia, we were supermodels. And it's so funny because Razia is really into like fashion. Like me and Masada, we gonna look fly, but Razia, that's her thing. I think Razia breathe fashion, like you, and y'all love to get y'all what I was gonna say your shop on, but not necessarily. Y'all just like nice things. But Andrew and Kyle, they'll go out, the
boys,
and buy like my brothers would buy like $600-700 shoes, and they bought them shoes like years ago, and they still good shoes.
Well, that's the whole thing. You know, you got to know, as we would say back in the day, you got to know how to hook up. And we hooked up. And I was in high school. I used to make purse, pockets. We go to the leather store in town and buy leather, design a purse, and so we grew up real creative. And on my dad's side of the family, I had a ton of aunts that was seamstress. So you sew it, look nice and whatnot. They want to come close, turn it over, and let me see what it looked like inside.
Yep, they were always say that. Yep,
they were true seamstress. So they taught us. They didn't get excited about how it looked on the outside. They wanted to know how it looked on the inside because it had to look as good on the inside. The clothes you people buy today, oh gosh, the older generation is turning over in their grave because that was not acceptable. You could not. So it was a different era, and I love having my clothes made. I should tell you, seamstress, boy, she'd have a seamstress making things for her shows. I would gravitate right to them because I love having my clothes made. There's one thing, we can have the same pattern, but we're not going to have the same fabric. Right. So that's the difference. And it's just better. I'm stressing now. I just told some of my neighbors, so I'm so upset I can't find a decent mid-calf skirt. I can hardly find dresses. Summertime, you got more dresses available to you. I said, I am just so disgusted because I'm tired of pants. I am literally tired of pants. You want
to show your ankles?
No, I just need to breathe. I need to breathe. You need to breathe.
You need a breeze to come through. That's right. Now we talk about the wild women sleeping in their underwear. Some of my friends said they sleep in their drawers. What is that about?
I don't know. You need to
take it off and let yourself breathe.
You got to get with Queen of Four, who tell you to put your
inversions, put your legs up, let it flow back.
You got to breathe, ladies. You got to breathe.
And yes, I love a good seamstress, and I think coming from that, I have pieces that I've had made that I still have that are classic. And whether I wear them or not, can fit them or not, they're such great pieces. Like you turn them over in the inside and you look like this piece was made very good. And I learned how to sew very young. I actually have a sewing machine. I need to tune it up. But yeah, so just growing up with those things, and you made sure that we took the sewing classes, home economics. Yeah, I don't get that in school no more, kids. Home economics. We took calligraphy classes. Went to camp, and that was because basically things that you were not exposed to, you thought it was important that your children have those exposures. Right. Well, like roller skating, she can't roller skate, but I can.
No, I could roller skate. I went to the rink all the time, but I just never.
Just because you went to the rink, that don't mean you can skate.
I was going to say I just never really got it. And they used to put me out, and my cousin used to put me out in the middle, and I would cry until somebody came.
The middle is safe. The middle is safe.
No, they just tease me and whatnot. No, but I mean, going to camp, that wasn't, I mean, people went to camp, but not when I grew up. I didn't know nobody who went to camp, you know, but except for my father, he went because he was a Boy Scout or something. He used to go with the camp. He told me, you know.
Yeah, and that was also when you were going on sabbatical because we would be gone for 2 weeks and you would just get your life. You and Aunt Doris. Y'all run to Atlantic City and hang out. We don't know what they was doing, but they was in Atlantic City turning up. She said, So is there anything that you want to leave the fine people with as we wrap up and you go make your curry chicken?
It's been interesting. I have such a busy life. And my daughter's been
booked and busy.
She's been trying to get me on here, but I'm not idle. I am definitely busy. I'm I work, I take classes, and it's a lot. But I'm doing it.
But you balance it out.
And yes, I'm doing it.
So let me ask you, how does it feel to be a great grandmother? You have your first great grandchild.
It's wonderful. Mr. Adonis is just a beautiful baby. Did you show his picture?
Let's show. Look. Celeste, you see that? She's like, did you show his picture? Yes, we have his picture.
Yes, he is a wonderful little boy. I cannot wait to see him today. I see him on a regular basis. We were on FaceTime the other night, but he doesn't really pay that much attention.
Yeah, he don't really like FaceTime. He wants to see you in real life, in person.
Yeah, so he can tear up my house. So,
yes, he is beautiful.
He is just a wonderful little boy and a happy baby.
A happy baby. Yes.
That's the key. And he's very fast. I mean, he's walked at 9 months old. He has 4 teeth now.
And the other ones are coming in,
And he was a year old yesterday, and he started school 2 weeks ago. So
yeah, but he's in daycare. He's in a plant-based STEM daycare.
Yeah,
they're using the same coloring book that everybody else uses, just paying you got to pay a little extra for it. But yeah, so I'm just so grateful and honored that I chose you. You should also be grateful and honored, Geraldine, that I chose to come through you. To be my mother, to guide me through this journey called life. Did you want to give me a hug or kiss and tell me how?
I just want to tell you my soil is rich.
But I love and appreciate you, and our relationship has evolved so much. But this is what I always tell people: when your foundation is strong, when you come from strong foundation, when you plant your children in a strong foundation, that the wind may blow, this may happen, but they may bend, but they're not going to break. They're always going to have a bounce back. And I just think that it is remarkable for my mother to raise 6 children, 3 boys and 3 girls. We are all still here. We've all had our challenges and battles. I tell you about that one time I had got locked up and she had told them to keep me. But I'll tell y'all that. But, she's like, I'm so sick of her ass. Keep her. I was like, and I can hear through the phone. I was like, did she just... And they had put me on house arrest, and she was really locking me in the house, y'all. Like, I was like, she really on their side. I ain't do nothing. Anyway, but she's always like, she's always been strong and have fortitude. And I believe that the reason that we are all still here is because we know that what she has put in us and what our ancestors, grandparents, my dad has put in us. And sometimes I'll be like, yo, we are really prayed over and prayed for. We have 6 children. You have 6 children. We're all in our right mind for the most part. I have my days. So, but it's just such like the sacrifices that you have made. And I don't knock anybody, but I just be like, okay, my mother did it in the 70s and 80s. She didn't have the resources that people have now. And it's really about a mindset and about being determined and saying, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to win. This is what I want for my children. Like my mother worked and we were on public assistance. I was in Catholic school and ain't nobody knowing private school. Ain't nobody knowing unless they seen it. And I had penny loafers that was $72. Bamberger's basement. We was rocking. Hey, cousin Eric. So it's just certain things that she just sacrificed for us, and she made it work. She made it do. My cousin Eric Dawson, I was actually speaking about your dad, cousin Carl, yesterday. One of the schools that I went to was Mount Vernon in Ivy Hill. And my cousin Carl Sharif, may he rest in peace. he was the president of the board of education in Newark, New Jersey at that time. And my mother was concerned about our schools. She was concerned about our schools. And she went to Cousin Carl and she spoke to him. And he gave us a pass to go to school out of our district. Cousin Carl is also, he was the campaign manager for Cory Booker to be the mayor of Newark, New Jersey. So
who's now in
the senator of New Jersey. And if you say to Cory Booker anything about Carl Sharif, he stopped everybody conversation and he gonna talk to you, because that's how much gratitude he has for my cousin Carl. So I don't be trying to brag or nothing, but like the Dawson side of the family, that's my bougie side. That's the bougie side of the family. They can read real good. And that's why my mother loves to say Montclair. So we like, thank you. Thank you. And I know it has not been easy for you. And I know I challenge you because I'm your mirror, boo-boo.
It's just taken away from my time. Eric, I could really use one of your cobblers right now.
And listen, here's the thing. Cousin Eric and Darren, I lead on them. They lived in Georgia King Village. And let me tell you something. When I tell you I had a crush on my cousin, Darren, oh my God. Church's Chicken. Yes, we going to Church's Chicken. I just wanted to see. When I tell you they fight, like my family, no offense, we are gorgeous. And my mother has had a family meeting and she continues to talk about this. And she talked about how she brought beautiful children into the world. And it is everybody's responsibility to carry it on. And if it's a few boogers in the lineup, she knows. But that's the thing, though, mommy. People, you got to pay attention to who you line
that's what my
up
grandma.
with.
That's what my grandmother said. Be careful who you mix with. We don't need no strange looking children in this family.
So y'all know where I get my humor from. Anyway, mommy, I love and appreciate you.
Yes, you are too.
What else you making tonight?
What else am I
She
making?
got me making the star. I already said I'm doing ginger beer.
What else?
I did some rum cakes.
I was gonna make spinach rice, but I didn't go get this.
We had an argument because she thought she was gonna change my schedule coming up here yesterday.
And thanks to Desiree, she bought fried fish up last night.
My Guyanese auntie.
That was supposed to be for you yesterday, but she called and we went out to dinner. So
yes, where my mother lives is 55 and older. They be turning up in this building, okay? And she makes sure that if anyone is in need, that she provides. It's one gentleman down the hall that he's not in a wheelchair, but my mother prepares meals on Sunday, and she's serious about it. Prepares meals and put the food on his door. He knows when it's there, she'll knock, and he bring his empty bowls. When he done back down, like they love Geraldine. So we're going to turn up this weekend. And I was going to schedule shows this weekend while I was here. And I said, no, I need to see my people. I'm going to Adonis party and I need to see my people because that was so important. But I thank you all so much for watching. This was very important for me.
Thank you for having me on.
I appreciate you taking out time, your schedule, and putting your bra on because she was important. She was like, do I need to wear a bra? Because we got pajama pants on at the bottom. I just want to let y'all know.
Thank you for inviting me. This may be the first and the last time you guys see me.
Why?
Because
you got to make curly chicken.
I'm busy.
Anyway, y'all, thank you so much. Celeste, thank you. I appreciate y'all. Peace and blessings. Y'all see her artwork and all that stuff. And she interior decorator. When we had a newspaper route, they used to be like, your mother interior decorator. I said, no, she a garbage picker. My mother showed me how to go to a estate sale and a yard sale and turn up. Okay, we know how to do this. I love and appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. If you all missed the beginning, you can go back on YouTube, Queen Aishah. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend where you been. Hey, Zanovia, my Sagittarian sister from Brooklyn, Ebony. My big brother Andrew came through. Hey, Andrew.
Andrew, did your mama embarrass you?
Andrew, mommy left you that message yesterday and told you she needs some more paper towel and toilet tissue from Costco. Make sure you... I heard her leaving a message. She was like, Andrew, and she was like, I need toilet tissue. Can you bring me toilet tissue? Anyway, peace and blessings. Thank you all so much. Celeste, I appreciate you. Have a great day.
Bye.